bag. I was trying to tip it in using the bag, and it's got up to a temperature where it's just melting the bag. So we're just gonna have to put the charcoal in using our hands, the old style, Iron Age way.
That's what it is, pure iron carbonate.
That's good, right? Yeah.
We've got the furnace with charcoal, and we've already had a load in already. And what we're trying to do now is get the whole furnace up to a temperature where we can introduce the ore and reduce it into an iron bloom. What the signs we're looking for to reach that temperature, because we don't have a thermometer, is for the flames to start licking out the top of the furnace, which they are, and for the smoke to cease, which is something to do with the gases coming off. And we get to that temperature with the bellows. We're looking for something between 9 and 1100 degrees Celsius.
Okay. I'm James Hayes, and these are my bellows, which I'm loaning to Brian for his project in smelting iron. And I'm a member of a group called Uish. It's a group of artists who have come together over a number of years to try and reproduce Bronze Age technology, bronze casting technology. And so that's why I ended up making my own set of bag bellows for use with our pit furnaces for bronze casting. I suppose Billy McFlynn, who was and Trina Nichols was on the Uish project for a couple of years, and so when Brian needed the use of a set of bellows, they put them onto me. And right now I'm just trying to giving someone else a break from pumping the bellows, so that we can try and raise the heat in this charcoal-fired smelting furnace up high enough, I guess over 1,000 degrees Celsius to smelt the iron ore, help the slag run off, and be left hopefully with a bloom of hot iron.
And there's a particular knack to the technique.
To managing these bellows. Yeah. You have to don't empty them completely. You keep them half filled with air, and you try and overlap pumping action so that when one is almost empty, the other one's already filling up. And they're joined together by a Y-shaped wooden tube that's been hollowed out, and then that tube is connected to a clay pipe going into the furnace. It's a fired clay tweer pipe. It's pumping oxygen into the furnace.
So what's happened, Brian?
Okay, we're going to charge the first charge of ore. So we're going to use a 1-to-1 ratio of ore and charcoal. So we've got 1 kilogram of ore here, and we've got 1 kilogram of charcoal. And you do it in layers. So I'm going to put on the ore first. We're going to try and put it centrally, so we try and get into the hot zone when it gets down near the tweer, and then we're going to put the charcoal on top.
I'm going to have to go and get that apron. Use that shit.
Well, Tom, the ore's in.
It's in. Just hope we get some iron. Layer by layer. Just let it go down. It should hopefully start to form somewhere near the tweer where it's most hottest. And that's where all the iron, which will be in a solid state, will coalesce and come together into a spongy mass, which we call the bloom. And the slag, which is the waste or the gang, will drip down to the bottom into the pit. And that will hopefully be the end of the smelt.
where the flames are coming out, you'll see a void.
What did you
In that void, we can see some glowing orange towards the edge of the furnace wall. And that might be slag.
Happy?
So far, it really couldn't have gone any better. We've had perfect weather. The furnace has had absolutely no cracks, and I think it's high enough. Bellows seem to be working perfectly. We've had no slag coming out the tuyere. We've had no blockages. It all seems to be going perfectly, as far as we understand how things are supposed to go.
Je rentre du boulot, aïe aïe ho, 8 heures devant l'écran, les yeux injectés.
This is the bloom. This is the slaggy mass. It feels very heavy. Very good chance there's a bit of iron in there. You can see, I don't know if you can see, this is part of the furnace line that's come off as well. You can see the kind of the clay.
Yep.
So this is where the tuyere would have been, air blowing in, and this is the bloom that's formed just below the tuyere, and it is absolutely classic and absolutely perfect. You can even see prills. These are slag prills that have been coming out. Can you see that, Tom?
I can't actually.
I'm gonna get pretty close here, okay?
You see those little bubbly prills?
Beautiful, yep, yep.
That's slag that's dripped down.
It's very green, isn't it? You can see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look at it, it's in perfect little drops. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that is classic.
Classic bloom, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's enormous.
So we've got iron. And then basically it's very slag rich prints, we just didn't consolidate it.
Yeah. We do that under a furnace now, or under
Yeah.
a forge, yeah?
Yeah. You can see here all the oxidised iron which is
Yeah,
rusted.
rusted.
And as
The bridge is broken there, yeah.
as you wobble it along this fracture, you can see it's very wobbly. It's not fracturing cleanly like glass, it's fibrous, like a paper clip.
So there's a metallic link.
Yeah. I had one of those earlier as well, but
And what's the green, any idea?
that's glass.
That's glass from the
glass.
silica,
Yeah.
from the sand.
And from the furnace wall.
Oh, right. Yeah, it'd be interesting to do a sort of chemical
And a lot of
analysis
this
and
very
find out.
dark glass will be iron rich,
Right.
silicate. And then the green will be just more
Pure
like silica.
yeah. Amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
So what temperature do you think you're up to in the
I'm
quite near
just
the
saying,
twire?
you get ceramic firing about 800 to 900 degrees Celsius in, 800 in a bonfire. The fact we've got molten ceramic means we're in
liquid.
excess of that,
Oh.
probably in excess of 1,000 degrees if we're getting iron. So in excess of 1,000 degrees probably,
Oh,
around
right.
the tuyere anyway. Probably definitely not towards the end where there was the charcoal stayed, but
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
around the
yeah.
tuyere. And there's a huge lump of that furnace lining which is molten.
Okay, what we're doing now is we've just completed planning the furnace, recording it. And what we're going to do now is take a section of the furnace, almost like a cake when you could slice a cake in half. And we should be able to see the makeup of the furnace wall. And hopefully when we get down to the pit, we can excavate a similar section. And that'll show you some of the layering of the slag and what was going on in the furnace during the smelt.
So that's going. It's cracked, actually, it's cracked.
It's cracked, yeah.
Beautiful, it's beautiful.
Alright.
Oh, look at that.
Holy shit.
Oh wow.
Right, now let's try and lift this out of the way. That is what you call beauty.
Happy, or how was
Yeah.
the overall?
I'm happy. We've had a successful smelt with some iron in the bloom. I'm just excavating out the bottom of the furnace now, which we've previously just sectioned. Just collecting some samples of the fuel ash and of the lovely drip slag, which is very hot. It's lovely. Let's run over the wood. It's into a pit furnace, but we've had a wood stack in the bottom, and this is run over the top of it, so it's very, very nice bit of slag. So we're just finishing up and wrapping up here, and then back off home.